Oh, hi there. Let's talk a bit about why the environment is so much more reinforcing than we are. Well, where do I begin? There's novelty, things to chase, things to eat, usually deer poop, things to investigate, and all kinds of interesting things to smell. How can we possibly compete with all of this? This is where we're going to take a look at reward stacking. I first heard this term in an agility seminar and thought it's a great way to explain to people what we need to do when we're trying to reinforce our recall. So here is what we know. Dogs love movement, to play, and to chase things. They love to investigate new things, novelty, and to smell pretty much anything. Oh, and we can't forget that they love to eat, which becomes our number one resource when it comes to training. So if we know our dogs love all those things I just mentioned, how can we stack our rewards to be able to compete with the environment? Well, let's take a look at this example. You call your dog back to you. As they're coming back, you run, which adds motion. You throw or play tug, which adds play and chase. So at this point, you have rewarded with motion, play, and chase. Now you release them back to the environment. And bam, just like that, you became more reinforcing than the environment. This is an example of stacking rewards. So what if your dog doesn't love to tug or find toys reinforcing? You guessed it, we're going to use food. You are still going to add movement by running away. You're still going to throw the treats, which will create the chase. You are going to scatter a few treats when you throw them to create the reinforcement of searching and smelling. And last but not least, you are going to release them back to the environment, and you have just created a reward stack of 4 rewards. In one recall. When training a new behavior, you must use high-value rewards, and it's great if there's something novel, like a squeeze tube with canned food, homemade treats, or some of the treats listed above. To get you guys used to reward stacking, I'm going to get you to work on a positive interrupter. This is also a great tool for a recall when you want to interrupt your dog from possibly going towards a distraction. A positive interrupter is simply a sound that interrupts your dog's behavior and encourages them to return to you. I'm going to play this video in a minute with sound, but I just wanted to take a second to talk through what I'm doing here. I always like to do my demonstrations in a small space so that you can see that you don't need a lot of room for this training, but if you have a larger space, by all means, you can use that. In time, we'll be moving all these skills to outside either way. I have picked Pup Up as my positive interrupter sound, but you can use anything at all as long as your dog can hear it when they're outside. Not only am I pairing the word Pup Up with turning and coming to me, but I've gone ahead and stacked rewards to make it even more reinforcing. One very important key point to this is to wait until your dog is finished eating the treats and has turned and reorientated back to you before you make your Pup Up sound. You do not want to say your Pup Up while your dog is still eating. Alright, so let's take a look at our reward stacking. We've got movement on our part, chasing on the dog's part, and searching for high-value rewards. I'm getting dizzy watching myself. In a minute here, you'll see I change things up and I start just going back and forth, and I'm only using one reward when I throw it, but what I've implemented is the actual reinforcement of speed here. Before I was throwing 2 or 3 treats at a time. And here I just changed it up again just to add to the novelty. Reggie has a really great reverse retrieve, so I can get away with using one toy for this. If your dog won't run back to you with a toy in their mouth, you may need to use 2 toys to use play as your reinforcer. Working your positive reinforcer is an excellent way for you to practice reward stacking.